Ram Ram Hare Hare. Is it live? Can I resume?
Yes.
Okay, just starting it up. All right. Hare Krishna. So, sharing the stream again. Please do the needful, huh, Vishwa?
Yes.
Those who are waiting on the previous stream, please direct them. I'm closing all this. Hare Krishna. Sorry for this interruption. Okay. So, Namam Ishwaram Satchitananda Rupam. That's what we are about to discuss. Where is my. Yeah. So, Satyavrat Muni begins this prayers with saying Namam. Very interesting, actually. Nama means offering obeisances. Out of love, out of respect, as a matter of duty, it can be any of it. Actually, according to Vedic etiquettes, Vedic tradition, anything which we begin, particularly if it is in relationship to the Lord, we always seek His blessings before. Just like if you look at first canto, Mother Kunti's prayers, Namaste Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakriti Paramalaksham Sarvabhutanam Mantrabhahe Ravashtitam. When Mother Kunti begins her prayers, she also says, Namaste Purusham Tva Adyam. Tva means unto you, Adyam is the original personality Godhead. You are the original Purusha. And then she says, what is the nature of this original Purusha? Ishvara Prakriti Param. We'll define the word Ishvara in a short while. There are three different meanings of the word Ishvara. Ishvara Prakriti Param. What kind of Ishvara? There are many Ishvaras. Even we are Ishvara to some extent because we also have some controlling ability. Nonetheless, every society chairman and the committee consider them to be Ishvara for sure. They think they can control people under them. So Ishvara, but no, what kind of Ishvara she is praying to? Prakriti Param, beyond the modes of material nature. So what she says, Namasya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So what is this understanding behind offering respects? So first thing, the whole idea behind saying namam or offering respect is to take their blessings. Our Vedic culture, Vedic tradition teaches us that we don't begin things haphazardly, randomly, erratically, or independently. Because at all time and situations, we remember that we are dependent on the mercy of our seniors. We depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality Godhead. So either in Karma Kanda or whichever practice which comes under the Vedic paradigm, it all begins with seeking blessings. So here Satyavrat Muni is about to sing glories of the Lord. And we know that in second canto when Brahmaji had a darshan of Lord Vishnu and he sang verses in glorification of Lord Vishnu, and then Lord Vishnu began to speak and Lord Vishnu said, Hey Brahma, know for certain that your prayers, the intelligence by which you have composed these prayers also comes from me. Which means because of my ability, which I have endowed to you, you are able to compose prayers. Move forward 2 cantos further. 4th canto, Dhruva Maharaj pastime. Dhruva was taking darshan of the Lord. He's clueless. He wanted to glorify the Lord, but he couldn't. He was speechless, and Lord touched the forehead or the head of Dhruva with the conch, and then he was empowered. So we are grounded in this reality that we don't do anything without the blessings. So here Satyavrat Muni is seeking the blessing of the Lord. So seeking the blessing of the Lord in the sense, my dear Lord, kindly empower me to glorify you and kindly protect my prayers from all the Mayavadis from spoiling this meaning. Just like Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar Devotion, when she composed Mangalacharan, is the same meaning. So this word Namam acts as a Mangalacharan. Now, what is Mangalacharan? Mangalacharan, what we described so far was Mangalacharan only, the meaning of Mangalacharan. Just like any Bhagavatam class or any discussion about Lord, when it has to be begun by a speaker, the speaker always offers prayers, just like we also did today, and every time we do it. That is called as Mangalacharan. So the basic premise of the Mangalacharan is to seek protection and also blessings of the Lord. Not only of the Lord, Vaishnavas, Guru, not Guru, all the Gurus. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakya Chakshur Unmatamena Tasmai Shri Guruve. Now it's a plural. So taking blessings of all so that we can speak and glorify the Lord. So that's the meaning of word Namam. And then Satyavrat Muni says, to whom I am offering respects? To whom I am offering my obeisances, which could be out of love, which could be out of respect, or could be out of matter of duty. In case of Satyavrat Muni, it is out of love. We'll see that as the prayers goes ahead. So he says, I offer my respects to Ishvara. What is Ishvara means? Ishopanishad text number 1. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatayam jagat. So what is Isha means? Isha means controller. Isha vasyam idam sarvam. It is said Isha means vas means control. Isha vasyam idam sarvam. Whatever is there in this world, in this creation, is nothing but under the control of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Ishvara. So like this, there are three meanings of Ishvara. Just like we have the verse in fifth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yagnatapasam sarvaloka maha Ishvara. Sarvaloka maha Ishvara. So, Hare Krishna. What happened? Again, this went off. The power went off here. Get the power here, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Camera, please. I'm not able to see myself only. Hare Krishna. Okay, back, fine. The presentation is there? Yeah. So we were talking about, okay, we went ahead 1 second. Navam Ishvara. So I was quoting Bhoktaram Yagasapasam Sarvaloka Maha Ishvara. So Sarvaloka Maha Ishvara. So there are three definitions of Ishvara, which Satyavrat Muni indicates, Srila Sanatana Goswami describes while using the word Ishvara. First is Sarva Shaktiman. The definition from the 5th chapter, verse number 29. Sarvaloka Maha Ishvara. Sarva Shaktiman Ishavasim Vidam Sarvam. The second definition is Jagat Ekanath. Jagat Ekanath means he is the only Nath. Jagannath. He is the only Supreme Personality Godhead, or the soul and whole of this world. And then comes the third meaning of it is Ishta Devata. Everybody has an Ishta Devata. And that means Nija Prabhu. Sarva Shaktiman, Jagatnath, Jagat Eknath, and Nija Prabhu. So you are the most powerful. You are the Lord of the whole creation, and you are also my Ishvara, my Lord. Like this, Srila Satyavrat Muni is indicating the meaning of the word Ishwaram like that. So here in the first facet, he is glorifying the Supreme Personality Godhead as the Aham Sarvasya Prabhu Mata Sarvam Pravate, who is the cause of all causes. And the second facet, he conveys that you are the only subject and object of worship because you are Jagat Eknath. You are the whole and soul. Just like we have demigods also, they are also called as Ishvara. But no, Krishna is the Jagat Eknath. And then why am I composing these prayers? Because you are also my Prabhu. You are also my worshipable deity. Like that, Nija Prabhu is being described. All right. So Namam Ishwaraham Sachit Ananda Rupam. So Namam Ishwaram describes Tattva Vishesh, particularly the word Ishwaram. So Tattva Vishesh means, Tattva means truth. What is the truth about him? He is Sarva Shaktiman, Jagat Eknath, and Nija Prabhu of Satyavrat Muni. That is Tattva Vishesh. Now comes Rupa Vishesh. There are 4 Visheshtas or attributes described here. Second is Sachit Anand Rupam. Sachit Ananda Rupa means the Lord has a spiritual form. For example, Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter verse number 12 and 13, Arjuna says, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Divyam. You see the third line? The Lord, you have a transcendental form. What does a transcendental form means? These days, among the devotee community, we use transcendental word pretty loosely. Generally, to a crackpot, we call him, he has become transcendental. Have you notice? Somebody is not acting properly. We sarcastically say, he is becoming too transcendental, which means a crackpot. But that's not what the meaning. We are misconstruing the whole meaning here. So Divyam, for example, Narad Muni, once he went to meet Ravana. And he went and told him, Ravana, what have you done? You are a fool. You should return Mother Sita. Don't you know she's a consort of the Supreme Personality Godhead? Like this, Narad Muni once in a while chastises. Generally, he doesn't chastise. He only sets a fire. And the Lord comes and does the needful thing. So this time, Narad Muni chastised Ravana. Ravana became extremely angry. He took out his sword and he attacked Narad Muni with all his might. He slashed his sword all through the body of Narad Muni, but the sword went smoothly through the body of Narad Muni, as if the body doesn't exist. If you have to pick a sword and swing it in the air or towards the sky, nothing would happen. It will just swing. Like that, it went through the body of Narad Muni. Ravana was shocked. He again swung back. Again and again, few times he tried. He exhausted, he fell at the feet of Narad Muni. He said, Narad Muni, I want to accept you as my guru. Can you please tell me how do I get a body like you? I also want to get a body like you. And then Narad Muni said, yes, if you want to get a body like this, you can get it. First, you have to return Sita. Go and fall at the feet of Lord Ram, and then he will award you with this Satchitananda Rupam. So point here is, if the devotees of the Lord can have this transcendental form, then what to speak about the Supreme Personality Godhead. So here, in this Shlok Shrankala, which Arjuna says, next verse he says something very interesting. He says, Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve. Ahustvam, jo maine kaha hai about you, is also announced, declared by all the rishis and munis. Devas Naradastata. Devashi Narada Muni accepts this. Asito accepts, Devalo accepts, Vyasdev accepts, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime. And you yourself are also telling me you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has a Divyam form or a transcendental form. Like that is being described here. And not only this, just like he says, Swayam Chaiva Bravishime, that you are also telling me, yes, Lord Shri Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, verse number 6, he tells Arjuna, Arjuna, I am not like you. I don't appear like this. What does Krishna says? Ajopi san avyatma. Ajaha means unborn. Avyatma means inexhaustible. I am unborn, inexhaustible. Bhutanam Ishwaropi san. Bhutanam means of all living entities. Ishvara means controller. I am the controller of all living entities. I am the unborn, inexhaustible. And how do I appear? Sambhavami Yuga Yuga Krishna says 2 verses down the line. And here Krishna says, Prakratim Swam Swamadhishtaya Sambhavami Atmamayaya. Sambhavami Atmamayaya. I appear through my own free will or through my own internal energy. How do we appear? Karmana deva netrena jantu deha utpatte. We appear because of karma, our past karmic activities. Daiva netrena, and under the vision of higher powers, we get a next body or the yoni. But the Lord, Sambhavami Atma Maya. So this is how it has been described. Namam Ishwaram Satchit Ananda Rupam. This is Rupa Visheshata. All right, let's move forward. Namam Ishwaraham Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalaham Gokule Brajamanam. Now comes Saundarya Visheshata. Very interesting how our acharyas describe. So while describing Saundarya Visheshata of the Lord, it is mentioned by Satyavrat Muni, Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam. So we have offered respect to the Lord. We have described the Lord of the form of the Lord is transcendental. That same Lord is particularly known. If I have to ask you, if I have to ever ask you, what first thing comes into your mind when you think of Krishna? What will come to your mind? The flute, the peacock feather, the yellow dhoti. What else will come to your mind? Let's talk about Lord Vishnu for that reason. Kastamamani, Vaijanti Mala, Srivassa Mark, right? The conch, the lotus, if we talk about Lord Vishnu. So if you think there are so many important things to be described about the Lord, But here, Satyavrat Muni, among everything, is talking about the Kundala. How many people pay attention to the Kundala, even if some wears it? For example, ladies wear Kundal. Who pays attention to the Kundal? So why Satyavrat Muni is paying attention to the Kundala? Very interesting. Why Lasat Kundalam? Lasat has two meanings. We'll take a look at it. Kundalam, first of all. So if you read any description of the Lord, let's say 10th canto, there's a whole description of the Lord comes. The Lord showed his beautiful form to Muchukunda. When he showed his beautiful form to Muchukunda, that time Sukdev Goswami, while describing the form of the Lord, he also mentions Kundalam. So the Kundal of the Lord are Makar Kundal, or the shape of a crocodile, very unique. Similarly, in the 11th canto, many various places you will find the whole description of the Lord, and in that Kundal also comes. Similarly, in 11th canto, when Balaramji have winded up his pastime, Lord Shri Krishna saw that Lord Balaramji have disappeared now, so he went and sat on a piece of rock, and it kept his left feet on the right thigh, and his beautiful red lotus sole was visible, and his hand was up on his left leg, which was kept on the on the thigh, right thigh. At that time, when Sukdev Goswami gives a description of the Lord's beauty, there also he mentions about this Kundalam. It's not mentioned on Lasat Kundala, it's mentioned like Makar Kundala, like this. Is also mentioned like that. So this is a very integral part of Lord's beauty. Not only integral part, but it has something more than that. Therefore, this particular word has been used here. Now you all remember Pundarik, the great imitator, who perfectly imitated the Lord. So perfectly imitated the Lord, when he came to fight with the Lord, even Krishna was amazed. My God, kya dramebaaz hai. Lord was amazed. This is height of mimicry. This is height of imitation. Why? He was wearing yellow dhoti. He had Vaijanti Mala. He had Kausamuni. He had Shiva Samak. He had the crown. He had the peacock feather. He had the Sudarshan Chakra. He had everything with him. And he also had the Makara Kundala. And Krishna thought, wow, this is all as good imitation, but I cannot tolerate him now. He'll fool people. And immediately Lord Shri Krishna, he said, oh, really? You're like me? So you take my Sudarshan also. Krishna said, you take my Sudarshan. Krishna told to Sudarshan, go and be on his head. Sudarshan went and finished off his job and came back. So there also, while describing Sukdev Goswami, describes Pundarik's form, there also the Kundalam is mentioned. Okay, let's come back here. Why Kundalam is being highlighted? So first thing, there is a very special or unique position of the Kundala. First of all, it meant Lasat Kundalam, which means one meaning of it is swinging. The Kundal was swinging. Now why Kundal is swinging? Because it relates to the pastime which is being about to be disclosed by Satyavrat Muni. Because in this, Yashoda Bhiyolu Kaladhavamanam. So Lord Shri Krishna is running out of fear. And when he's running out of fear, his Kundal is swinging back and forth. And second thing to indicate, Krishna, Akana, as a child, was, as Mother Yashoda would say, fickle-minded son. In that language, he was very naughty, according to Mother Yashoda, and he would run around. And to remember that, how the Kundal was swing back and forth when Krishna went and pinched the tail of the, calf, and then caught hold of the tail and running around in the Brajbhumi. Again, the Kundal was swing back and forth. That is one set of meaning. Then there is Lasat comes also from the word Lasanti. What is the meaning of the word Lasanti? Lasanti means glowing. Lasanti means glistening. So here it means Lasat Kundala means the Kundal were, the earrings were glowing like anything, very effulgent. Now, unless you have a light, they cannot glow. Now, what is the meaning of this, Lasanti Kundalam? So here actually through this, Saundarya Visheshta of the Lord is being described. Just as we know, the source of the sunshine and the moonshine is the effulgence of Brahman. The source of effulgence of Brahman is the body of the transcendental body of Lord Shri Krishna. The effulgence of that form of the Lord was making the Kundalam shine like anything. So when Satyavrat Muni says Lasat Kundalam, which actually reminds or establishes the beauty of the Lord, that it is self-effulgent, and because of the effulgence of the body of the Lord, the kundal were also shining. Like that, the word lasat kundal. Therefore, it is said the kundal or the earrings that Lord wears have a very special position. And the last meaning which is described is why they have a unique position, because they frequently get the chance to kiss the cheeks of the Lord, because they are very close to the beautiful face of the Lord. Like that, lasat kundalam is described. It describes the Saundarya Visheshata, like that. So this is about lasat kundalam, makar shaped. And there is a very beautiful verse that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam which describes, because through lasat kundalam, Saundarya Visheshata has been described, which means the Lord Krishna's body is the ornament of all ornaments, because it also makes the ornaments wonderful, just like the kundalam. And therefore, Uddhavji says this to Vidurji. Very beautiful verse he says. Yan mrityalilaupayikam sayoga maya balam drashyata grahitam. The first two lines says, in Mrityaloka, the Lord appears through Swayoga. Samavami Atma Maya is the same meaning. Swayoga. By his own Swayoga Maya, by his own internal energy, Balam, Swayoga Maya Balam. Drashyatah Grihitam. Vishmapanam Swasya Chasobhagrate Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. And then he takes forms which are appropriate for that particular Leela, to make the Leela more enriching. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, when Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad, so your Lord is in this pillar? Prahlad said yes, and Hiranyakashipu broke the pillar. And imagine if Vamandev would have appeared there. Imagine from the pillar if Vamandev would have appeared there, what would have happened? And Hiranyakashipu said, Arey, Prahlad, you have hidden your school friend here? He's of same height and same age like you. You know, Vamana means the dwarf incarnation. So Hiranyakashipu probably would have caught both Vamanadev and Prahlad Maharaj, would have sent him back to the Gurukul. Jao padkar aao. What are you doing here? You know. So now who came out from that pillar is Narasimhadev. When he saw the ferocious form of the Narasimhadev, he said, yes, now somebody has come. And there was a fight. And imagine if the great grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, if Narasimhadev would have gone to Bali Maharaj and would have said to Bali Maharaj, Bhiksham Dehi, and then he would have roared like a lion. Oh, jaise bhi roar karte hain. So what Bali Maharaj would have done? Would have given any charity? Charity would not have happened. So who went there? Vamanadev. So to invoke that affection in the heart of Bali Maharaj, so he can surrender everything. Their surrender would not have happened. Their fight would have happened, because he was a great warrior like that. So like that, this beautiful verse says, according to the Leela, the Lord takes a beautiful form. And then it says, Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. Param Padam Bhushana Bhushanangam. This form of the Lord is the ornament. Bhushana Bhushanangam is the ornaments of all the forms. Like this, Lasat Kundalam actually established Saundarya Visheshata of the Lord. Now, moving forward, is about Parivar Visheshata. What is that? Okay, this is another verse from the 10th canto, where Gopi says, your beauty makes all three worlds auspicious. Indeed, even the cows, birds, trees, and deer manifest the ecstatic symptom of bodily hair standing on end when they see your beautiful forms like that. All right. Let's go to the next. Gokule Braja Manam. Gokule Braja Manam. This establishes Parivar Visheshta. So Tattva Visheshta, Rupa Visheshta, Saundarya Visheshta, and now Parivar Visheshta. Gokule Brajamanam. The excellence of his family, the Vrajvasis, those who all reside in Gokula. He has his cowherd friends, the Gopas, the Gopis, Yamuna, Govardhan, the calves, the cows, the monkeys, the parrots, the trees, everything. That is what is Gokula. Gokula Brajamanam. So when he says Gokula Brajamanam, Srila Sanatana Goswami describes why Satyavrat Muni have said Gokula Brajamanam. He says, how splendid it is when Shri Krishna is in Gokul, the home of the Gopas, the Gopis, and everything, in this place which is particularly befitting for the Lord to perform is the most sweet and exceptional pastimes. Brajamanam refers to the exceptional leelas or activities like that. Another meaning of this Gokula Brajamanam, one is about everyone is there, Parivar Visheshta, and another meaning it's also Gokula Brajamanam. It also talks about the whole mood and the environment of that place. The whole mood and environment of Gokula is filled with Vasalya Prem. Anything and everything is meant for the service of the Lord. Every Gopa and Gopi who were married, they took or they saw Krishna as their own child. They desired Krishna to be their own son, like that. And that's the reason the whole your Brahma Vimohan Leela was enacted to fulfill the desires of all the Brajavasis, like that. So Gokula Brajamanam, the another meaning of word Brajamanam. Brajamanam means splendid, spectacular. It refers here to the mood of Gokul, the attitude of Brajavasis, and that is everyone loves Krishna. And according to their rasas, particularly Vasalya rasa is being discussed in this verse. Now, four Visheshtas have been discussed. Let's go ahead. What happens now? Now, the last two lines talks about Leela Vishesh. Tattva Vishesh, Rupa Vishesh, Saundarya Vishesh, Parivar Vishesh, and now there is Leela Vishesh. That much, a lot, this verse talks about it. Yashodabhiyo kalat dhavamanam. So what does this line says? यशोदा के भय से उक्कल से भाग गए. यशोदा भियोलू खालद. तो ukkal. So Lord Shri Krishna was sitting on the ukkal, and out of fear of Mother Yashoda, Dhavamanam, he ran away. And what happens then? Paramrishtam Paramrishtamathyanta Tudrutya Gopya. So then when Krishna jumped from the ukkal and ran away, Paramrishtam Atyant. Paramrishta means caught from behind. Atyantato, which means Atyantato Drutya, which means Mother Yashoda ran faster than Krishna. And Gopaya refers to Mother Yashoda. So these two lines in brief describes that how Krishna, out of fear of Mother Yashoda sitting on the vehicle, ran away. Mother Yashoda ran faster than Krishna, caught him from the behind, Paramrishtam, and caught him. This is what these two lines says about. So let's take a look more in detail about it. Hare Krishna. So Yashodha Bhiya. So Ukkal Dhavamanam, like that. How do we start with? Maybe we can start with the pastime itself. Maybe we can have a discussion on that. Okay, let me just Dhavamanam. Let me take a look at the verses here. Maybe the previous line was simple, straightforward. I'll just reflect on this particular line. Paramrishtamatyan tato drutya gopya. Now, why Satyavrata Muni used the word Gopaya? This is what Sanatana Goswami raises the question. He could have said Yashodaya. Paramrishtam Atyanta Tudrutya Gopaya. Yashodaya. Now, why Gopaya? Now, here it indicates that all the gopis loved Lord Shri Krishna as his own child. Therefore, the Lord said, therefore, the Satyavrata Muni said Gopaya, to indicate that everyone in Vraj had the same parental affection as Yashoda had for Lord Shri Krishna. Paramrishtam, we'll go back to back. So, Gopaya, Mother Yashoda. Then Atyanto Drutya. Atyanto Drutya, Mother Yashoda ran faster than Krishna, caught hold of him. And Paramrishtam. And how she caught hold of him? From behind. Now, why Srila Satyavrata Muni is highlighting this particular aspect, that Lord Shri Krishna was caught from behind? Is that really a big thing? If let's say you catch a thief, so do you describe in detail the thief was caught by his hand, by his collar, by his leg, or from behind, from his stomach? Does it matter? But it matters here. The Krishna was caught from behind actually indicates Bhakta Vassala nature of the Lord. Kalyavan was on the battlefield to fight with Krishna. He had brought a huge army. Lord Shri Krishna saw him, got down from his chariot and began to walk right up to him. Kalyavan thought maybe this young man wants to have a combat, fist fighting with me. So Kalyavan also got down from his chariot. Krishna was without any weapons, no weapons. So Kalyavan was convinced that this boy wants to engage in fist fighting. Probably wants to die today, that's for sure. Krishna walked right up to Kalyavan, and and just touched him and went aside him. And Kalevan was totally confused. What happened? Where is he going? He walked past me as if he doesn't even notice me. And the Kalevan he became extremely angry because one way to upset others is to ignore them. He felt so highly ignored because he felt so insulted that he thought, oh, this boy has to be killed. Krishna was still a teenager. And then this Kalevan began to run after Krishna. Krishna was walking. Kalevan was running. Here Krishna is running and the gopi is running. Can the running of the gopi and the Kalevan be compared? He was a great warrior. And here a simple gopi, how much fast can she run as compared to that? In the case of this pastime, when Krishna was running, then Mother Yashoda caught him. In the case of Kalevan, Krishna was walking, and yet Kalevan could not caught him. This is the irony. We'll discuss in the next session about the dichotomy in this first and the second shloka, and the next time the bewildering lila that happens. Every time Kalevan raised his hand, thought, I'm just about to catch hold of Krishna's collar. Every time he missed it. It's just like he just touched it, but he couldn't caught hold of it. And here, Param Rishnam Atyanto Dritya Gopya, Mother Yashoda ran faster than Krishna and then caught hold of him from behind. And when she caught hold of him, Srila Jiva Goswami talks about in Gopal Champu, Krishna was running out of fear. And the moment he turned behind to see how far is Mother Yashoda. Now imagine, can you still running at the same speed? Can you run still fast if you turn behind? No. When you're going to turn behind, you're going to slow down. The moment he turned behind to see how far is Mother Yashoda, then and there Mother Yashoda caught hold of his hand and caught hold of him, and that the whole beautiful pastime begins. And with that, we'll also begin the beautiful pastime, that how it unfolded. So we're going to refer the 10th canto, 9th chapter, verse number 1 to verse number 10. Let's see how far we go today. I'll go, if you all are okay, I'll go through word by word, so that you understand how the whole pastime is building up. So Srila Sukdev Goswami said, what he said? Ekada grahadashishu, once upon a time, Yashoda Nanda Gehini, Yashoda Maya, Nanda Gehini, you can call it as wife of Nanda or in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Karmantara Niyukta Su Nirmamanta Swayam Dadhi, was performing an activity. What was that activity? Nirmama Mantha Swayam Dadhi. In this particular morning, Mother Yashoda by herself, Manthan, kiska Manthan ho raha tha? Dadhi. She was churning the yogurt. Oh, really? So when this pastime occurred, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, while quoting Vaishnava Toshni by Srila Sanatana Goswami, he points out, Srila Sanatana Goswami has identified that this pastime took place on the day of Dipavali. Krishna was around 3 to 4 years old, some say 4 years old. This is one of the concluding pastimes, you can say, after which they moved to Vrindavan. Gokul, Vrindavan, and Nandgaon, like that. So this occurred in when Krishna was approximately less than 4 years old, like that. And this occurred in Gokul, and the day was Diwali. And what happened? What was Mother churning? Oh, let's say ask, why was Mother churning? It is mentioned, Karmantara Nyuktasu Nirmamantha or Nirmamantha Swayam Dadi. She was churning. What happened to the maids? She had so many maid friends. She could have churned. They could have churned. Why Mother Yashoda had to churn? So she was particularly churning because she was fed up from the complaints that she was receiving about her son from other gopis. She thought, all these ladies who assist me in my household affairs, they cannot even boil the milk properly. What? They would churn the butter. I am personally going to churn the butter so that the makhan which is produced is so delicious, so tasty, my Lala does not have any need to go and steal anywhere. And you will see how the pastime unfolds, how Krishna deals with Mother Yashoda's makhan. But what Krishna is thinking. So here, Mother Yashoda, actually they had 10 lakh cows. And among them, they were selected 10 cows. Among that 10 cows, there were 10 cows which was fed Padmagandha grass, which was such a nectarian and delicious grass, which had a very special fragrance, which was not available to all. But Mother Yashoda had arranged for her son, and who the cows who would eat this grass, their milk would be very nectarian. And then finally, out of the 10, there was one cow. That particular cow's milk was fed to Krishna. So precious was this milk, and so special was this dahi produced from that milk, and from which the makhan would come. It was meant for whom? Only for Krishna. So Mother Yashoda said, these maids do not know how to boil the milk properly. What about churning the butter? I am personally going to do the manthan. Kitch, 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 kitch. Like this, there is a sound coming because her ankle bells, the jewels on her body, they all are moving as she is. And the, all the things she has on her wrist, they all are moving when she is doing the churning of this. Like that. And what is she doing while churning? Yani yani hagitani. She's singing. What? Hollywood, Bollywood songs. What else would you sing, right? कोई गाना आता है? Hollywood, Bollywood song? No, there was no Hollywood, Bollywood. So what would she sing? Yani yani hagitani tadbala charitani cha. She's singing the charitra, the glories of her son. Dadhi nirmantane kale. At what time? When she's churning the butter, or when she's churning the yogurt, she is Yani Yani Hagitani singing the song about what? About the Charitra Bala Charitra Smaranti Tani Agayataha. She's remembering all the incidents of how he killed Putana, Shakta, Surutranavath, all those different pastimes, Leela, she is remembering. She's singing all those beautiful. So Prabhupada writes, very beautiful thing Prabhupada writes in the purport. What was she doing while churning? So Prabhupada says this was a culture, particularly let's say from Mother Yashoda, and all Brajavasis would do the same thing, that they would take that particular memory and frame it in the form of a poem and sing it. You want to know what she sang? What exactly she sang? Let me read out to you. Only thing is, if I go into details, it'll take a lot of time. Even this verse will not get over. I'm going to read out from Gopal Champu. I am not a poet, so I will not be able to put into proper rhyme. But I read out, at least for this. I didn't read out for previous class, but I'll read out for all of you. Srila Jiva Goswami writes a poem written, that was sung by Mother Yashoda. And she says, what was her song? O Tilak of the family of Nanda, which means the crown jewel of the family of Nanda. You're living in Vraja. Since the people here have done hundreds of pious acts, you have given them great happiness. Seeing your actions, the eyes becomes joyful. By the great festival arising from this bliss, you give bliss to all the cowherds, O King of Gokula, filled with the auspicious actions of killing Putana. You engage in auspicious acts after overturning the cart, Shaktasura, which destroyed the steadiness of our hearts. The Supreme Lord has brought you back after he killed the whirlwind demon, Trinavrata. You crawl about in the beautiful yard. Lotus-eyed child, you are the greatest piety. You show the greatest skill at dancing and playing. You appear most attractive. You appear most attractive when you hold on to the calves' tails. You show false greed and arguing for fun with elders. O Krishna, always give happiness to me, your mother. Stay in this house always. Please reveal your playful antics and quickly grow. You showed the power of the Lord, causing astonishment and showing the universe within you. When mother once were breastfeeding, and Krishna yawned, and she saw the whole universe. May your body remain without old age and death, and become the cause of joy by worshipping the Lord. May you become the great devotee of the Lord. Like this, in that mood, Mother Yashoda is praying. Very beautiful prayer. Then what happened at that point of time? The ocean of beauty woke up. Krishna woke up. Who was just by the eyes, Mother Yashoda can see Krishna is sleeping. It's just like, the old homes, previous constructions, they were inner courtyard, outside courtyard. So Mother Yashoda is sitting in the inner courtyard, and there in the room, her eyes are set on Krishna. So Mother Yashoda, what had happened prior to this is, she was with Krishna. She was sleeping along with Krishna, and she saw Krishna is fast asleep. Seeing this as an opportunity, she knew, every mother knows, as long as a child is sleeping, they can do the household affairs. Seeing this as an opportunity, Mother Yashoda patted on the beautiful hairs of Lord Shri Krishna. His eyes were like lotus petals. And looked at the beautiful face of Lord Shri Krishna, patted on the head of Krishna. Seeing that Krishna is fast asleep, or Lala is fast asleep, Mother Yashoda came out and started to churn. In the meantime, by the sound of churning, but naturally out of hunger, does the child wake up? Child wake up. So Krishna woke up, breathing heavily, and he began to breathe heavily, as would any child would do. And he bent his limbs, which means he tried to get up. Rubbing his eyes, he cried, Maya, Maya. Hearing the sound of churning, he walked on faltering feet to his mother. And what happens? Let's go back to Srimad Bhagavatam. So, text number 4. First of all, we go ahead and text number 3. I have not had it here. You can read out at your leisure. The great fortune and also the beauty of Mother Yashoda is described. What is the word meaning? What is the meaning of the word Yashoda? Yashoda, the one who increases the fame. Whose fame is she increasing? She is increasing the fame of Krishna. How is she increasing the fame of Krishna? By binding Krishna, she did the impossible. And that impossible dictates that how Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. Only Bhakta can guard Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Only Lord can be known by bhakti, by no one else. Therefore, she increased the fame of the Lord, that how compassionate, kind the Lord to his devotees, that he is even willing to be bound by the devotees, no one else. That is the meaning of what Yashoda. And a very beautiful form of Yashoda. In the third was described when she was churning the butter, her head was perspiring because she can look at the beautiful face of Krishna. So because of motherly affection, her breasts were becoming wet because of the milk which she wanted to feed to her son, waiting for him to get up like that. And the beautiful form of the Lord, a beautiful form of the Yashoda described, is mentioned that her complexion was also like the dark rain cloud. And on that, she was wearing the very beautiful yellow color sari, which had a very tremendous, impact. And Prabhupada, in that particular description of the verse in the purport, Prabhupada writes, every devotee should meditate on this beautiful form of the Lord, a beautiful form of Mother Yashoda. Imbued with Vasalya Prema, how she was absorbed in serving Krishna. And what happens next? Oh, text number 4 then comes. तां स्तन्यकाम आसाद्या मतन्तिं जनिनं हरि गृहीत्वा दधिमन्थानां नयशेदत् प्रतिम avahan. So, hearing the sound of Manthan, Krishna woke up, as I described how he woke up. He rubbed his eyes, began to walk with the faltering steps. He came and approached Mother Yashoda. And let me see what Acharya says. Yeah, like this. He came there to Mother Yashoda, did not say anything, but he caught hold of churning rod. Grahitva dadi manthana. Grahitva means pakad lena. Kisko, what did he caught off? Grahitva dadi manthana. With the thing with which the curd was, the yogurt was manthan, was churn. Dadi manthana, which means the churning rod. Lord Shri Krishna caught hold of the churning rod. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this verse translation of Prabhupada describes, Mother Yashoda had a smile on her face. Oh, my son has become so intelligent. He is conveying without speaking what he wants. By his action of holding the churning rod, he is indicating, Mama, I am hungry. Feed me. He got hold of the churning rod. He looked at the mother and immediately climbed onto the lap of Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda was in full bliss. Oh, my Kana, my Lala. Then what happens? Tamang kamarudham apaya yasanam snehasnutam sasmitam ikshati mukham atraptam usrachya javena sayaya uschi yamane payasit udishrute. Like this, Mother Stanam, Stanpan, Mother Yashoda began to breastfeed Lord Shri Krishna. And she was looking at the beautiful face, lotus-eyed Krishna, his lips like bimba fruit, beautiful, beautiful face of the Lord. And she was in bliss. And suddenly she heard some sound. And she looked at the kitchen, she realized, oh, again my maids have made a mistake. They cannot even boil the water or boil the milk. Now she was in a big crisis. My child is there who's hungry, and the milk is getting boiled there. So I just want to make a disclaimer. She was not like a modern day woman who cannot compromise 100-liter milk for their son. Huh? She was not worried, हमारा 100 रुपए का नुकसान हो जाएगा. That was not the intention of her at all, which is also not wrong, which is all right. She was not worried about it. But she decided, atraptam usrajya javena sayav. Atraptam means the hunger of the Lord of Krishna was not yet fulfilled. Atraptam. Usrajya javena sayav. Ushyamane hurriedly. Payashita adhishrite. Adhishrite, she went in the direction where there was a kitchen. Hurriedly, she kept Krishna down and she went into the direction where the milk was boiling. And now comes a very, very important question. How can you disown Krishna? The purpose of Shama eva hi kevalam, if we cannot develop love and affection for Krishna, then what all we do is useless. And here, Mother Yashoda is one who has attained that perfection in life where Krishna is coming to him to receive the condensed form of her love in the form of a milk from Mother Yashoda. And Krishna has kept, or Mother Yashoda has kept Krishna down just for that 100 rupee liter milk. Now, this is not you and my case, where if once the milk is spoiled, you not get milk for the next 24 hours because the milkman will come after 24 hours. They had 10 lakh cows. So in Gopal Champu, there's a description comes when they would play Holi, or if there was any celebration, you know, how would they celebrate? How Holi was played in Gokul? Pichkari. Pichkari was not filled with colored water. Gauranga. Pichkari was not filled with colored water. Pichkari was filled with milk and yogurt. The color which was put on the body of the Gopas was not of any color. It was makhan. They bathed each other with makhan and dahi. So the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj was become like a swimming pond because of the Holi, but not of water, but of milk and dahi. And everyone from top to bottom have been massaged and covered with the makhan. Oh, come on. You have so much milk. So Krishna has all the right to be upset, na? Maya, you can play Holi with milk. Now today, just because one milk pot is boiling over, you're keeping me down. This is so unfair. And what is the definition of pure bhakti? Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanamrita anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Mother Yashoda, is she a pure devotee? Yes or no? Anukulyena. Your bhakti should be favorable to Krishna. And the next verse says, Krishna became very angry. How dare she keep me down? And this verse also says, Atriptam. Krishna was not satisfied. And Mother Yashoda kept him down. So how can Mother Yashoda behave like this? How was it? You know, this was not favorable for Krishna. So is Mother Yashoda not a pure devotee? Or even after reaching that level of pure devotee, still you can have some of the priorities? No, it is not like that. First, Srila Prabhupada says in this regard, whatever Mother Yashoda did, everything was meant for pleasing Krishna. That milk was also meant for Krishna. Not that that milk was to be used for her tea and coffee later in the day. She was worried about it. It wasn't like that. That milk was also meant to be used in the service of Krishna. Srila Vishnu Chakri Thakur says, she had such a concern for Krishna, for what Krishna would eat and drink. If the milk gets spoiled, what would he drink and eat? That she temporarily ignored Krishna also, because it was meant for the service of Krishna. Let me give you an example to help you understand. Imagine you are sitting for chanting at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 temple program. Let's say you live in temple or live near to temple, you're Brahman initiated, and you're attending the morning program, and suddenly the head pujari comes running to you, Prabhu or Mataji, whatever in your case. Today, one of the pujari was supposed to dress Gaunitai. He fell sick, he cannot come. We're already running late, we have nobody else but you. Can you please come and dress? What would you say? Or what would you do? Now, you're chanting your rounds. Kartik ka mahina hai. To chant 6 rounds in the morning is considered very auspicious. Now, what will you do? How many will say you can, if you go for dressing, you cannot finish rounds in the morning. Then you break your vow. You have taken a vow that I'll chant in Kartik month every morning, 16 rounds Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So what would you say? How many will say, I would say, Prabhu, why don't you find somebody else? Don't you see? I've taken a vow. I've taken a vow to chant my 16 rounds, so please kindly excuse me. How many will say, I mean, if not like this, maybe like this. Something like this, you'll say, okay, Prabhu, please find somebody else. Please understand, I've taken a vow. Hardly I chant in the morning hours. I've got an opportunity. Today also you're catching me with the seva. There's so much seva. Every time seva, seva. Let me do Krishna seva by chanting holy names. Or you say, all right, Prabhuji, as you say, I'll get up and go and dress the deities. How many say you'll get up and go and dress the deities? Okay, good. Yeah, when it is here, it is good. When it is in action, we'll see how much you say. I have noted the responses of all of you. I'll engage you now. When then I'll see when you are in action, when you are in actual field, how you give a reply. In a class, there is always a very nice response. So here the point here is, see, your chanting is also meant for pleasing Krishna. The dressing Krishna is also meant for pleasing Krishna. But now we have to decide what is the priority. And how do you decide priority? By what Vaishnavas ask you. The Vaishnavas want you to serve this way. Because if you don't serve this way, then deities, who will serve the deities? Because there is no one else available than you. And for that reason, you should leave everything. Just like His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj once told to Srila Prabhupada, he was in Vrindavan, he said, Prabhupada, I took sannyas, travel all over the world to preach, and you have sent me to Vrindavan. Whole day I keep counting cement bags. Whole day I keep counting cement bags. I am surrounded by all the dirt and all the construction, what's going on, so much noise. I have to deal with the laborers, I have to see they don't cheat, so many things. Although I'm in Vrindavan, yet I don't feel like I'm in Vrindavan. Can I take a leave and go? He said like this. And Prabhupada said, for you, being in Vrindavan, helping build this temple is the most important seva. How many of you agree that it was the most important seva? How many of you agree? हाथ खड़ा करो. मैं नोट कर रहा हूँ सबके हाँ responses. समय के संग टेस्ट करूँगा तुम्हें. So yeah, it was very important. For why? Because that is what Krishna would be pleased. But now there was nobody else than Maharaj who could handle that seva. That is the point which is highlighted. Very beautiful lesson Prabhupada brings in. So in our Krishna conscious lives, we'll face challenges like Mother Yashoda faced this particular morning on the day of Diwali. The milk is meant for service of Krishna. My breastfeeding is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. But among these two, I can still breastfeed. I'll come back and breastfeed. But if the milk gets boiled over and the milk falls down, there's no more milk for Krishna rest of the day. Therefore, Mother Yashoda decided. But now question comes, which Srila Jiva Goswami raised. Are you could have taken Krishna along with you? Yes or no? Why you had to keep Krishna down? You could have taken Krishna along with you. So there, Srila Jiva Goswami mentions, look at the words, how Srila Sukdev Goswami says, Uschiyamane payasito adishrite. She ran hurriedly. So Mother Yashoda thought, if I have to quickly run, the milk is about to boil over. If I need to handle that situation, first of all, you understand the milk pot will be very hot. Now you need to have hold of both the hands. It would not be safe for me to carry Krishna. Second, if I rush, I will not be able to go at that speed. Thirdly, even if I am able to, there are chances of Krishna slipping from my hand. And fourthly, the purpose for which I am going may not get fulfilled because somewhere I have to keep Krishna down, na? I have to move that container away from this thing. It was not a cylinder gas. There was, if you ever went to Vrindavan, you will see still there are places which are in the houses of Brajavasis. We can still see the mathni. Huge mathnis they used to have where they used to manthan. Those traditional mathnis are still there. Now what they have done is they have covered it over with a cloth or they have covered it with a plank. On top of it, they have made a parking garage. But if you know of Brajavasis, you go, they'll show you which kind of pots, huge pots in which this milk will boil like that. It was on the firewood. So how will you do it? You can't just go through water. So you understand the peculiarity? That was the situation Mother Yashoda had to face, and Mother Yashoda decided it's the time for me to keep Krishna down. So because she served Krishna, was intention to serve Krishna, she is, yes, a pure devotee of the Lord. Now question comes, how did Lord Shri Krishna responded to this? Krishna became extremely angry. And what is the verse? Let's take a look. Sanjata kopa spuritarunadharam sandashya dadibhedadi manta bhajanam bitva mrashashru drashad ashmanaraho jaga sayangavam antaram gataha. Sanjata kopaha, very angry. Krishna became very angry. Spurti arundharam, and his reddish lips, he began to bite in anger. How dare she do like this to me, like this. Sandashya dadivi, dadi means that. Dadivi with his teeth. Sandashya means he began to bite his lips. Dadi manthana bhajanam, and then he looked at that dadi manthan. Oh, she left me to save her cow products. Let me destroy her cow products. No, I forgot one more very interesting reason why Mother Yashoda ran. Another reason which is mentioned by Acharya is Mother Yashoda ran thinking that, we are cowherd families. The wealth of the cowherd family is the milk. And my son is a spoiled brat. He doesn't know how to protect his family's wealth. Why? Because he keeps on distributing to all the animals. He keeps breaking pots. So today, yadyat acharti shreshta tatta devatarojana. I have to set an example. So I should set an example for him to show him by my own example that how the wealth of the milk, through milk all the products will come, is most sacred and should be protected at all cost. So Acharya mentioned this is one of the reasons she kept it down. You stay down only. Huh? You watch me. I go and protect the milk. So Krishna said, oh, your wealth is milk. Let me show you my wealth. My wealth is naughtiness. Dadi mantana bhajanam, he looked angrily at that, the pot. Because of you, all these cow products. Bitva mrasha ashru. Ashru means tears, right? Mrasha means jhute. How many of you have that experience? The child is doing okay. He's maybe in his own world. Suddenly he sees his mother and father coming. He begins to cry. How many have that experience? And suddenly the mother father goes away. He walks around here and there. Totally forgotten. Again, mother comes in the picture. Again cry. Why? Because he wants attention. So, Bitva, where is the word? Britva mrisha ashru. So, Bitva means breaking. So, there was a stone. He took a stone and very expertly, he hit the pot so expertly, it did not make a sound only. Can you imagine? You break a pot. Mother Yashoda would not have heard of it. He hit it at a point where it easily cracked open. And then, because he broke the pot, he began to cry. By chance, maa aage to maregi nahi. He made a mistake. He did a mischief. And began to cry. And then what he did? Drashyat ashmana raha. So Drashyat ashmana means with a piece of stone. Raho means then he ran towards a solitary place. He looked for where I can go and hide. And then he thought, I'm still hungry. So he went into the inner chambers where mother had kept hanging to the ceiling, the butter pot. So Krishna was such a mischief. Prior to his birth, all the butter pots were kept on the ground. Since his appearance, everything went up on the ceiling so that he cannot catch hold of it. He went inside the room. Very, small boy opened the room, went inside, bolted the room from inside, climbed up the bed, somehow caught hold of that pot on the ceiling. That's what it was designed. What he did? Jaghas. And then he began to eat. Hai gamvamam. Hai yangavam means the freshly churned butter of that Padmagandha, the grass and the cows. Antaram gata. Antaram gata means within the room. After going there, he began to eat this particular, like this has been mentioned here. Let's go ahead. Maybe I'll take 2 more verses, 7, and we'll pause the pastime. It's getting a little late now, 9:15. So what happened then? Now is a very beautiful thing that happens. Let's take a look at the verses. And it is said, Uttarya gopi shushrutam paya punaha pravishya samdrashya chadadhi amatrakam. Uttaraya gopi means utar dena. So Mother Yashoda went there and she took off the pot and kept it aside. Sushratam, which was very hot, extremely hot. Payaha punaha. And after keeping that pot away from the heat, which was very hot, kept it aside, Payaha punaha, she came back to the place where she was before. She wanted to breastfeed, like that. Pravishya, and she entered. Samdarashya, and she saw. So Jiva was going to say is, she kept her hand like this on her face. Arey Baba, the hell ka hai ye to ladka? बदमाशी क्या होती? She was so shocked. She kept her hand like this on her face and like thinking, my goodness, what I just got disappeared for a moment. This boy have expertly broken the pot. What she saw, cha dadhi amitrakam. Amitrakam is amitrakam means the patra, the pot in which the dahi was kept. Bhaganam vilokya. Bhagana means bhagna kar dena, means broken. Vilokya means seeing this. Swa sutasya. So when she saw Bhagnam, that pot has been broken, what she thought? मेरे बेटे के अलावा कोई नहीं कर सकता. And then she again smiled. How smart my son is. How expertly he broke the pot that did not produce a sound also. Swasutasya karmataj. ये मेरे बेटे का ही लक्षण है. Jahas and smiled. Tam chapi na tatra pashyati. Seeing no other cause of because of which the pot would have broken, and the cause maker is also disappeared, which further strengthens her viewpoint. Usi ki harakat hai. Thinking that, she smiled. How intelligent this boy is. He broke the pot and he fled from the scene. He's not to be seen anywhere. Okay, let's take a look at 8th verse. Then we'll tell you what's happening after this and we'll pause. Ulukhalangre upari vaya vasistam markaya kamam dadatam si chistitam. Okay, let me tell you what's happening. This verse jumps up a certain part of the story. So what happened here is, so Mother Yashoda saw this. Krishna went inside. Mother Yashoda doesn't know. Because the pot had broken, the butter fell on the yogurt fell on the ground. Lord Shri Krishna's feet got wet with that. And when he ran into the particular direction, he left behind footprint. And went inside, he bolted. So Mother Yashoda somehow by hook and crook unbolted the room and entered the room. Some acharya says she entered through the window. She went inside. And she went inside. Krishna is not there. Krishna is not there. What happened? So it is mentioned. So what happened is Krishna went inside. Krishna went inside. Then he took the pot. He was eating. And he was very worried. आज तो मार पड़ेगी. मैं अपने घर में चोरी कर रहा हूं. पहली चीज, I'm stealing in my own house. On top of it, I broke the pot. He's like, आज तो मैं पिटूंगा. He was convinced I'm gonna get beating. But he was hungry. So he couldn't control his hunger. He was hungry also. So he took the pot from the ceiling, unbolted another door on that room, and went into the backyard. He thought, I'll go behind, and in private, I'll sit and eat. There he went there, and there it was, Ukkal was kept there. You go to Gokul, you'll see Ukkal is, representative Ukkal is kept there. He went at the backyard. The Ukkal was there. Now Acharya is astonished. See, Ukkal is never kept upside down. Ukkal is a huge, heavy container जहाँ पे मसाला पीसा जाता है. If you have ever seen, how many probably have gone to Gokul, you have seen today also this huge ukkal. Still a mystery how that ukkal went upside down. Of course, not a mystery. Krishna would have done it. So that ukkal was upside down. Krishna went and sat on top of the ukkal. Now acharyas wonder why Krishna went and sat on top of ukkal. Because he was afraid of, because the backyard, there were a lot of insects crawling on the ground. So Krishna was afraid of the insects, but he had a strength enough to make the ukkal upside down. So this is the contradictory past tense of the Lord like this. So this is what he did, made the ukkal upside down, and then sat on top of it. So this is what this verse says now. Uluklangre upari vaivasthitam. Upari vaivasthitam, he went and sat on top of ukkal. Then what did he do? Markaya kamam dadatam si chistitam. Markaya kama means monkeys. And then he called all the monkeys. And what he's doing? He's fulfilling the desires of monkeys by feeding them that butter. See, Mother Yashoda, as I said in the beginning of the story, Mother Yashoda personally got up and was churning the butter, which was very, very sacred, of the best of the cow's milk, meant exclusively for Krishna. And he's wasting away that butter on the monkeys. Can you imagine? I'm just trying to help you understand why Mother Yashoda was so angry. Can you imagine? So important thing, and he is wasting away the monkeys. Marka yakamam dadatam. Dadatam means giving. Dadati pratigranati. Dadati is to give, pragnati means to accept. Dadatam si chistitam. Always the words. Hayangavam chaurya vishanti ekshanam. Chaurashtakam. You know Chaurashtakam? We sing in that Purushottam Mass. Chaurashtakam is Chorika. So Chaurya vishanti ekshanam. Because Krishna knows, आज तो मैंने घर में चोरी करी है, बहुत जूते पड़ेंगे. So he was so afraid. Hai Gam, Hai Yangama means the butter and the preparation which he had brought from inside. Chaurya Vishankti Ikshanam, because he knew he had done chori. Vishankti Ikshanam means his eyes were going from the end of the eyes to the other eyes. Mother Yashoda. He was very fearful. His eyes were looking here and there. He was feeding monkey. And he was looking here, there, from where Mother Yashoda will come. Now what happens? Nirakshyapashat sutam agamashanehe. And what happened? Nirakshyapashat. And Mother Yashoda saw from the window. Oh, what my Lala is doing. He's giving away my hard work. That makhan which was meant for him, he's distributing to the monkeys. Pashat Suta means my son. Agamash Shani. Shani means slowly, slowly. Agamash means she began to walk towards Krishna from behind, step by step, slowly and slowly, like that it goes. What happens next? I guess time is over. We'll continue that. But I'll tell you what happens next. So Mother Yashoda was really angry. For two reasons. First, he broke the pot. He stole in the house, doesn't matter because it's meant for him. But now he's giving away to the monkeys. This is too bad. My son has become very naughty. So she picked up the stick on the way. And she was walking like this. And there were monkeys right in front of Krishna, who was enjoying all the butter. And Mother Yashoda is coming from behind. So Krishna cannot see. But Mother Yashoda, the monkeys saw. And when the monkeys saw, those who were hanging with one hand on the tree, they raised their hand and fell on the ground. They were so frightened, and their eyes opened wide, like this. And in the reflection of their eyes, Krishna saw the reflection of his mother. And he saw Mother Yashoda behind, standing Krishna with the stick. And all the monkeys are like, they're like, Gaya, ye bhi gaya, hum bhi gaye. Because this is for the first time Mother Yashoda had picked up the stick. Mother Yashoda had chased away the monkeys many times before, but never lifted the stick. And this time they were so shocked. Krishna bhi pita, hum bhi pite. They were like fully surrender. You know, when the police comes, hands up. So like monkeys were like, hands up. And Krishna saw that. And that is what happens. Yashoda bhiyo loka latthavamanam. That's the line. And Krishna jumped from the ukhal. And he ran full speed. Aaj to had ho gayi. He ran full speed. Now where he ran? He was in the backyard. So he thought, where should I run? If I go inside the house and if I get caught up in the room, then to private mein jo beating hogi. I'll get really heavy. So if I want to save myself, there is only one option. I should run towards the public. If I run towards a public area, I am a future king of Gokul. I have some respect. Now Mother Yashoda would not insult me in front of the public because I'm going to be the future king. So if I run towards the public, maybe Mother Yashoda would not beat me. So he ran towards the front lawn, or the courtyard, you want to call it, not the courtyard, the front of the house. Now the front of the house, every morning at there, all the gopis would assemble for different activities. So he thought, I know everyone would be there. And generally everyone would be there. But today Krishna forgot. Today is Diwali. So everyone finished their duties and went back home to prepare for Diwali. Krishna with full force went running there. And Mother Yashoda understood where Krishna is running. So Mother Yashoda also ran, knowing that no problem. Even if he goes there, there's nobody. So can you imagine a lady running out in a public domain? That is not possible in those cultures. So Mother Yashoda ran with a full might. And that whole beautiful discussion comes to her hairs were beautifully decorated with jasmine flower. This is a season of jasmine flowers. And they began to commit suicide. Oh, we cannot be party to this crime. Mother Yashoda is going to punish Krishna. We cannot see our beloved Krishna to be punished. Let us commit suicide. So they were jumping out from the hairs of Mother Yashoda, falling on the ground like that. Acharya has explained, and she is running with the full might. And the beauty of her description is also given, and that is what Param Nishtam Atyantato Dritya Gopya. And finally, Mother Yashoda caught him from behind. And what happens when Krishna was caught? And a little more details into this particular incident we shall see next time when we meet and talk about the second verse. So from this was the last line, and the second verse we'll take it next time. We'll continue our discussion like that. Bole Shri Radha Damodar Dev ki, Mata Yashoda Maiya ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Kartik Maas ki, Damodarashtakam ki, Satyavrat Muni ki, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining us for today's discussion. The first few initial verses may take a little time because there is Leela. And again, the second Leela would be of the deliverance of Nalkuber and Manigriva. And the rest of the verses are okay. Of course, the last verse is the Srimati Radharani. That would also take some time. So I'm never in hurry. I hope you are also not in hurry. Even if you're not able to finish this year, next year we'll continue where we are. So, but there's no need to hurry. So, although I said I'll take 2 verses, we didn't finish first verse. So please bear with me on that. I hope all of you are able to a little bit understand whatever I'm trying to speak at my end. With this, we pause here for today. In case if or unless anyone has any comment or clarification, I don't know. Leela mein kya clarification hoga? There's no